Yes, you. Welcome to the You're Not Getting Any Younger podcast, a podcast for people who want to disrupt their lives for a good reason, to make it count. I'm your host, Jen Glantz, and every week I'll drop a new episode with stories from real people just like you, who woke up one morning and decided to make big changes, starting with small things. We'll cover topics like entrepreneurship, love, failure, and self-care. Hey, you're not getting any younger, so let's make this an adventure. Ready? Hey, any youngers. What's up? It's me, your host, Jen Glantz, and look at us right now. We are in a brand new year, a brand new decade. We made it to 2020, and I'm so happy that you're here, that you made it too, that you're ready to start off and kick off this brand new adventure over the next 365 days that we hopefully have, right? It's up to you. You made those promises. You toasted to a brand new year. You promised to do right. You promised to be the best version of yourself. Hey, let's make it happen. You're not getting any younger. Hope your New Year's was whatever you wanted it to be, honestly. I've spent my New Year's Eve in a wide variety of situations in my lifetime. Probably my best New Year's Eve ever was when I spent it in Times Square with a friend of mine. We actually went to Times Square. We waited there for 8-9 hours. We were freezing. It was 20 degrees. You couldn't pee. You couldn't eat. And we watched the ball drop. This probably was about 6 or 7 years ago, and it was still one of the highlights of my New Year's Eve because before that and after that, I spent most of my New Year's Eve by myself or with my parents doing nothing. I've always been disappointed about New Year's Eve. It's supposed to be like this really awesome, amazing celebration, and then it turns into this thing where you find yourself spending too much money or your expectations are so high and you get disappointed. So I've sort of, after I accomplished that Times Square New Year's Eve, I've decided that I want to spend my New Year's Eve in a chill environment, and that's what I did this year, surrounded by some great friends and just really hanging out and chill. I canceled a trip that I had over New Year's Eve because I just didn't want to travel and be on vacation, so instead, I went somewhere really homey, and I just spent New Year's Eve pretty chill. You know, one of the biggest things I did toward the end of the year is I blocked off a couple of days in my calendar and I spent that time doing inventory on my life, on my website, changing my website, improving it, on my social media, on my process, on my finances. I just took inventory of everything because I'm the kind of person that does not slow down. I don't have a pause button. I don't have an off button. And I really took the time to sit down and just review everything going on in my life. That way I can make conscious decisions this year, make changes this year, because if we just make our resolutions based on thin air, we will never know how to change. And I always say, okay, a resolution is save money and budget, but I don't actually look deeply into my finances and find my pain points and find my struggles and figure out, okay, how do we fix this? How do we save extra money every month by cutting out all of these purchases that you do not need? So, what's up with you? How was your New Year's? That's my rant. That's my ramble. I'm excited to be back this week. I'm going to keep it short and sweet because I know everyone's coming at you. It's the new year. There's a million things that people are asking you and telling you, and I don't really have that much advice to give you. I just want to tell you that during this time, since it can feel overwhelming and it can feel like there's so much happening, I want you to take inventory on your life. And one of the easiest places you could start and you should start are your finances. Look at your bank account, look at your credit card, look at your debt, look at your 401ks, and do a complete evaluation of where you are. And make weekly goals, monthly goals for your spending, for your budgeting, so that financial knowledge is something that you can learn and you can gain this year and take control of your finances. And I saw this posted somewhere on the internet, that big old internet, that someone was challenging their friends to look through their credit card statements and look at all the recurring charges they have and see which ones they don't actually use or they didn't even know they were being charged for and cancel now. The start of a new year is the best time to end these recurring charges. If you have a credit card that has fees, maybe you want to downgrade to a less less kind of credit card that doesn't have a fee to save that $99 fee every single year. And maybe you don't need to have Netflix, Hulu, and Disney Plus. Maybe just having one, and that savings is a couple $100s every year. So evaluate your finances. Second, look through your email. I know at the start of a new year, everyone is hoping and looking for opportunity, but sometimes it literally is right underneath your nose. Go through old emails from the past couple of months. Who did you forget to follow up with? Who did you email and you wish there was a different kind of response? Who emailed you? And just do inventory on your email situation, because chances are there are a couple of people in your inbox right now or in your deleted folder or your sent folder that you can reach out to, make connections with, and just open up conversation. My friend Molly Beck, she's been on the podcast, she's episode, I think, number 2 or 3, wrote the book Reach Out, which I recommend all of you read because it's the kind of book that will tell you and give you exactly what you should say to people to build connections with them, even when you don't need anything from them right now. She advises that you go through your LinkedIn connections and you make a list of people, and every day you say hello to one of them. Honestly, I think at the start of a new year, we're all looking for change, but we need to rely on people to help. And sometimes we just need to connect with people when we don't even need anything from them. So challenge number 2 is make some connections this month. Go through people in your life, reach out and say hello, even though you don't need anything from them today. Maybe in March you could help them and they could help you. And number 3 is get your stuff together. You might not be looking for a job, but I think it's great at this time of year to update your resume, update your cover letter. What does your LinkedIn say? Look through your social media. Please, for the love of yourself, Google yourself what comes up. I think doing a complete inventory on your career and what materials you have is super important. I mean, if you haven't updated your resume in the last year, now's the time to open the doc and see what you can change, because you never know when you need it. And if you haven't touched your LinkedIn in months, now's the time to go through and look at it and see what you can change. And finally, my last challenge of this episode is to try something new. Maybe it's a new hobby, maybe it's a vacation, maybe it's a food, but spend the month of January getting outside of your comfort zone in some tiny little way. Last year was a big comfort zone busting time for me. I did things like sword fighting and juggling and naked yoga and all of these wild classes in New York City to just sort of expand my mind, see who I was, challenge myself, and have a little bit of fun. So before this month flies by, my friends, I challenge you to think about one new thing you can try this month, even if you try something completely little, tiny, something that doesn't even add up to a great achievement, just to push yourself somewhere new. All right, we are back next week with another cool, awesome guest. But for now, I'm sending you off, reminding you to come hang out with us in the secret You're Not Getting Any Younger Facebook group. We have so many cool things happening, events, conversations, 1,400 amazing people just like you hanging out there. As always, please remember, subscribe, rate, and review the show. It helps us boom. It helps us grow. It helps me keep this show free for you. Back next week. Until then, all my love, Jen Glantz. Hey you! Thank you for listening to the You're Not Getting Any Younger podcast. There are hundreds of thousands of pods out there, so thank you for listening to this one. You can find the show notes for this week's episode up on our website, anyyounger.com. Subscribe, rate, and review the You're Not Getting Any Younger podcast on iTunes so that other ears around the world can listen too. Oh, and join our secret You're Not Getting Any Younger Facebook group, where over 1,000 people are talking about how to disrupt their lives, for a good reason, to make it count. Until next week, all my love, Jen Glantz.